I'm going to make him an offer again with you.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hello there, ladies and gents. Are you ready to rock?
Welcome back, Chuckleheads. If you watched part one, you know that we have come to the point of Coach Hager and the alumni that reached out and said, you should put your name in for this.
Yep.
I am Carlo Guadagnino. This is DingoTalk. Coach Nick Hager, the head men's basketball coach here at Bethany College. So the alumni reaches out to you.
Yeah.
Put your name in.
Alumni reaches out. It was, I think, early July 2015. I was at Juniata, summertime, actually getting out recruiting, and then applied, got the phone call, did the phone interview, went through that process, and then 2 days later got the call to come on campus. And the timing was my older brother actually had a surprise wedding reception up in Boston that weekend before. I was supposed to be at Bethany, I think, that following Tuesday for the on-campus interview, maybe Wednesday, and then I was up in Boston the weekend before with the alumni that I mentioned. So, and then from there was, I think there was a good, it was a good day. I think Sanson talked a little bit about on his, but Brian Rose, the AD at the time, put you through the ringer. It was a long day, a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations. It was all good though. I mean, you could tell, talking with people on the committee, Jan Forsty.
You're beating me. You can't do this. You gotta at least give me a. Well, I know you watched.
I'm talking through it though.
I know you watched the last show, but you at least gotta let me ask who was on the committee. Did you meet the players?
Sorry.
Okay, who was on the committee, and then did you meet with the players? Those are the questions.
Yeah. So since it was the summertime, there were a few of the returning basketball players on campus. Liam Davis was one. Jerron Athey was another. They were going to be sophomores that following year. So it was good. It was good to sit down and talk with them. They asked a lot of questions about how things, what would it be like if I came in as a head coach as far as program wise, offensively, and then kind of gave me a chance to talk about the academics as well. So it was good, really informative. And they're great kids, and turned out to be really good players as well. So it was a good experience for them.
Now, so you said Jan was on the committee. I mean,
Yep.
and obviously, Jan might as well be Boomer the Bison when it
Right,
comes to
yeah.
you're talking Bethany College athletics. That's it's her and football coach that just passed. Bob Goin. Bob Goin. So when you're talking the Bethany athletics, there's your two.
Yep.
And J.C. Cunningham. We can't forget Coach Cunningham. But there's your Mount Rushmore of. So Jan's on your committee.
Jan, I believe Courtney Klein was also on, the volleyball coach. Carver, the baseball coach at the time, and then Garvey was there as well. And then the faculty rep, I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head. But
Would it have been at the time? Would it have been maybe Andrew Fletcher?
wasn't Fletcher.
Okay.
It was a good committee. Obviously got a lot of questions about the academics, how to handle, not only on the court stuff, but in the classroom, and how do we, kind of what my approach was for that. So. And really gave me a chance to kind of talk about my experiences and everything, both undergrad and graduate, and then as an assistant. So, but it's funny, the things, the timing and everything. But the AD and some of the coaches at the time remembered whenever we played at Bethany, whenever Junior played.
They remember you a little bit.
They remember that. Well, they've seen what teams, what that I've been a part of, what it looks like. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're excited about that aspect of it as well. And but yeah, I think we've in the past 5 years done a pretty good job with the academic side of it, and then also the athletic side too.
So let's go before we talk about the class of fall of 2020 that I think you're still working on. As you said, it's still active, still an active class. Let's talk about that academic side. Like if there's a parent or a recruit out there, what is the academic side of coming to Bethany for a basketball player? Like what's a day in the life of a
day in the life? I mean, and actually, there was a video that got made. One of our sophomores, going to be juniors next year, Khalil Wilson. He had an unbelievable course load. I think 18 credits, full course load. In season, he was getting up. Classes. I think 3 days a week. He would go to class at 8 and then not be done until 2 or 2:30. And have like a 15-minute break for lunch, or that half-hour break at 12 and 12:30, and then go to practice. So there are, like, if you're going to be a true student athlete and pay attention to your academics, you're going to have some days like that. So, but with Bethany being Bethany, the supportive atmosphere with the tutors and the academic support, of course the coaching staff, we really try to give you as much support as you need. As a newcomer, especially those first year guys. Because I mean, as you know,
it's a transition,
not only athletically but academically. Which hey, if something worked in high school for you, and you were a 3.5 to 4.0 student, great, but it may not work in college. So what we try to do, I mean, we use study halls, and we actually call it academic improvement. So we use a lot of time management skills and try to give you some information of different ways to approach things.
With the Learning Center here at Bethany College, with the McCann Learning Center, you have, Heather Taylor is as phenomenal as it comes when you talk about the individual, how can we help you succeed here.
Definitely.
And she has an amazing staff. And I recommend anybody that hasn't, if you're a Bethany College student or if you're a recruit coming in and you haven't met Heather Taylor or gone to the Learning Center, that's definitely a place.
Definitely.
It's one of those unique things of Bethany College that if you're not a strong writer, there's a part that is just the writing center.
Definitely.
If you need maybe a little help in math or whatever it is. And these are the tools that as a Bethany student you get the opportunity.
Absolutely. And that's where you mentioned Heather. I mean, she's been on some, recently, because we haven't been able to have visits on campus. She's been on some calls with recruits, and just been able to step in and talk about what she brings to it. And it's kind of saying the same thing that me and my staff have been saying, but it's coming from her directly. So it carries a little bit differently.
And she's, Jesus, I've been here for, what I said about
10 years.
This August, it might be coming up on that. But in that time, she's been, I think the Bison Backer Award might as well be named. It is the Heather Taylor Award now, because that is her thing. She is when you talk about the epitome of what Bethany College, the full experience, if you're looking for that, how do you define it?
Right.
The student, the alumni aspect, the gates, the being a Bethanian.
Yep.
I think that you have to look at Heather Taylor, and it's just that is the model of if you're in that profession and you get the chance to come back to Bethany. I imagine she has to love that.
And
she's home. It's a
and I think the relationships. I mentioned it before, but the relationships you can build in a college atmosphere.
Well, you're senior this year. Aiden Aller is one that's the one to go to.
The comps, they weren't able to take the comprehensive exams on campus. He had to take his at his house. He's up in Saxonburg, PA, and that's not anywhere close to Bethany, West Virginia.
No, it is not.
I think he had his call at maybe 8 in the morning, or not started at 8 in the morning.
I want to say he was somewhere in there, because the video the video from him of her surprising him.
Yeah.
I want to say it was up at 10:30 maybe. And the fact that she was there.
Yeah, she drove up and was there. Because she was on his committee, and she was doing it from her car. In his driveway.
She's in the. See, I didn't get the full story. I haven't talked to Aiden. I had to pause there because Aiden and I have a history with each other from this past year where Just an interesting fella he is. That's all I'm going to leave that at. But yes, the seeing the video, and I didn't know. So he took his comps sitting in his living room, bedroom, wherever.
Yep.
His orals, and she's sitting in his driveway.
Yep.
On his panel but not at home. She's not here.
Yeah, wasn't here. She was in his driveway, went ready to congratulate him as he walked out because he had family and stuff there outside, and as the comps celebrations go. So it was cool. I mean, it was, and that's where Aiden was part of the first class that I recruited here. Him and Trey Shiflett. So that's it was cool to see that kind of those kind of relationships, not only with the athletic side, but with the academics and the Bethany community.
So again, building to the class, some of the players that you've had the opportunity to coach, Khalid Jones, and Khalik's the first one that comes to mind just because
it's fun. It was fun to watch.
It's
fun to coach.
And Malik, who now does, his photography and the angles that
he's probably as creative as I come, with what he does with the video and everything.
And he was no scrub when it came to that. He was a phenomenal basketball player.
Yep.
And
hard worker, great athlete, great. And you could say his abilities and everything, but him as a person,
it's
my gosh. He's the epitome.
20 out of 10.
Yeah, that's what we try to get every time when we recruit.
And Khalik the same way, 20 out of 10. They're just Rudolph.
Yeah.
That was a guy that I can remember PAC defenses are probably really happy that mid-range pull-up jumper that he had is gone right now or specifically his mid-range jumper because it was I'm going.
No, and I got to tell a story. So it was my first year here. We were in a shell drill. Shell drill. So we do 4-on-6, or we have 4 on the perimeter. So it's 4-on-4, and then we have 2 guys in the corners, and they're unguarded. So the whole idea is you pass to the corner. You pause for a second. Defense needs to adjust, and then the corner drives, and needs to rotate over. Help across, rotate down. And the guy helping across didn't rotate quick enough, and Tone got 2 steps on him and crushed it on him. I had I wasn't used to that, so I kind of just turned away.
It's the basketball mentality.
I couldn't do anything but smile, and the guys knew it too, and we had to kind of regroup a little bit after that. But I told them, guys, I'm not used to seeing that happen. So. And
there's a dunk that I have to bring up, and I think you know exactly which one it's going to be. There's a guy from your neck of the woods, I think, or he's from Olsh. Nick Metz, the yammer that he threw down.
Senior night, I believe.
And
senior night, Aiden Albert. We got a rebound outlet, and Aiden had it up ahead. Just dropped it off to him, and Metz goes up.
And Malik had himself probably the dunk of the year that year.
Yeah, that was at Waynesburg.
And man, it's sweet to do against
game,
that.
Yeah, close game, and get up pressure a little bit. Malik just picked the guy's pocket, went down, and the guy tried to jump with him, and
that was a mistake.
That was not a good call there, but
he'll forever be enshrined in the highlight.
I think the best thing was not only our guys' reactions that were on the court,
the student section
at Waynesburg, because there were a couple guys that kind of got up and they just looked like, where'd this come from? And then the looks up the guys on the bench too. So that was.
And it's always good to do that against Waynesburg. As a Bethany person,
absolutely
no insult to Waynesburg, but it's always a pleasure to get that for that burnt orange thing that they wear.
I trust my guys and want them to figure it out.
Exactly.
They'll figure it out. But
go ahead.
But sometimes you need to. So, but where was I going?
The nuggets from your dad.
Yeah. So he's been coaching coach for a long time, and he was around John Woodman still alive. So he would go to his clinics, and one of the first clinics he went to with him was. He caught him right before he went in. Had him autograph his book and everything, and Great. I mean, really nice guy. From what my dad said, you're like, hey, like, what's your name? Like, who might
Wants to actually wanted to know.
Right. And like just said, okay, like, thank you for taking your interest in this book. Like, best wishes, Coach Hager. And then went in, and like one of the first questions he asked was, so you had a lot of like high school coaches, college coaches, like, who all here like spends the majority of their practices on defense? Everyone's hand shot up. And he's like, I want to play you guys every single night. Because I mean, you need to work on offense. You need to work on putting the ball in the basket, and you can figure out the defense stuff, but you really need to spend the majority of your time on offense. So,
which goes to, so what's a day in the life of practice? Because you and I talked about a little bit on the you are as a player, you were defensive.
See,
You were. I'm not going to say you weren't successful offensively,
right?
But defensively was where you.
So I was on a college team. High school, I scored. I defended too, but college is where, of course, you can get there. Like, hey, you're the best player from your program, but you're also playing with guys from the best players from their programs.
Not where I'm going with this before. Defensively, it's there,
right?
But offensively, in at the time, District 10, it still would have been District 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
District 10.
So District 10, you're a scorer.
Yeah.
And you get to college, and it's one of those realizations of, I can score.
Yeah.
But I'm more useful and molding as a player. It was
right. And the coach, Greg Curley, who I played for, he valued guys who could defend. If you can't defend, you can't play. So that's where, I'm like, okay, well, I'm kind of a bigger guard. I can guard, 1 through 3, 4 maybe, but really bought into that. And plus I had, guys, around me that could score. Craig Biller was a senior when I was a freshman. Bills was a 6'1" guard, could just shoot, could just light it up. But then, I played with, a couple other guys. One played with the Hall of Famer. It was Brian Cannon from Fallston, Maryland. Just got in the Hall of Fame last year, but scored 1,500 points, and he was a 6'4", could stretch out to the perimeter, and then a couple other guards that could really score it. So, we needed, I like defense. I don't know. And Curley did a good job, teaching it too, just at different angles and everything. And
so when you got guys, when you're recruiting a guy, obviously offense, you need guys that can score. Yeah, you as a coach, are you looking for the guy that wants to nitty gritty kind of lock up, maybe full court guy?
Yeah, if they have the ability to. Not so much. Of course they have to care about defense. My God, yeah. But you can. I feel like you can teach defense. If you have the athletic ability to, and if you're strong, you can beat guys to spots and quick and all that. So.
Antonio Rudolph, if he can get a step on you, it's
So
he's gonna.
But go down the list like we did earlier. So many of those guys can do things on the offensive end, and
their defensive game was great. Was good to great. Depending.
Right, and it's so going back to your question about the recruiting. I definitely look for guys that can score and know how to score, and shooters and everything. But obviously if you're just following your guy around on defense, you don't really know what you're doing. That's why, whenever McConnell was coaching the boys at Charlotte Valley, I always made sure I could try to recruit at least one guy there, because I knew what kind of player we were getting. And I think that's been true for since he's been there.
And now it's the same. It's the same stat on the other way.
Yeah. So
and I didn't want to give Coach Sampson. He's the head coach. I don't want to tell him how to do it. But if I was recruiting Chartreuse Valley's women at this point, I'd be looking at his bench.
Yeah.
Anybody that's in our, because Jesus, he's got the Page twins sitting down there. Obviously, they're phenomenal. He had his daughter that was phenomenal. He's got a sophomore on that team that's been signed to Duquesne for kind of his son-esque type deal. But my dad.
We do recruit Whitfield.
It's just there's a lot of places in between.
There are, and it's Yeah, I mean, it's you got to grind it out and try to get the right fit and everything. So,
and it's tough because it's not just in between here. There's not just the Division 3 schools.
Right.
You're not just talking about competing with St. Vincent from the Westmoreland County and the W&J and Waynesburg from Washington County, but you're also competing with Teal, Grove City, Westminster, IUP. I know coming from Plum, a lot of kids from that
IUP,
side of town
Cal,
go to, and a lot of kids from this side of town. Cal U is it's the same thing.
Yep.
You know, it's right up for me. It was 286. You right up Golden Mile Highway.
Yeah.
You come right into IUP.
Yep.
If you're coming from Washington or you're coming from anywhere on 70, Cal U is kind of your right there.
Yep.
If you're up at like your area, I'm sure Slippery Rock, Clarion, Edinburgh.
Yep. Gannon. I mean, you got LaRoche down, Robinson.
And LaRoche is, I mean, especially for men. Now, I can't remember. I know there was a coach there that there was a tragic.
Yeah, that's right.
Were you already here, or were you still at?
It would have been before I got here. That happened.
Because Bethany did play LaRoche that year.
Yeah.
I had a guy that I went to high school with, Neil McCown. He played for LaRoche at the time. I happened to. It was a Christmas break thing. I happened to go to. They played him at I want to say it was a Carnegie Mellon Christmas tournament, but it was right after.
Like they have one.
And that was it was amazing what that team had done surrounding him, and I feel terrible that I can't pull his name right off the top of my head. But so LaRoche is a program that I did want to. Carnegie Mellon's another one. Case. We talked with Coach Sampson about how Thomas More left the conference. Case and Carnegie Mellon for sure. Football.
Yep.
Why aren't they in the conference for the other programs?
They're in the UAA for the other programs. So,
but that's a lot of travel.
It is, and I think I think a lot of it has to do with the academic approach to it.
Hierarchy. I mean, Case and Carnegie Mellon are they're engineers.
Yeah,
they're
yep. Yeah, it's a different academic level. But yeah, I mean, and who knows with this pandemic? I mean, we may be seeing one if not both of them. Because I won't be surprised if the UAA disbands for a year.
For the reasons of the travel is just
travel
ridiculous.
restrictions, and they're not going to be driving, flying down to Emory and Wash U and everything. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know. We talked about before. Who knows what's going to happen with our season, because we still got to find out what's going to happen with the fall and everything. But yeah, I don't know. And I mean, and the head coach at Case I know really well, Todd McGinnis. Graduate of Bethany, graduated in 2002 as part of that championship team.
Which you have some connection to that championship team, don't you? Somewhere in there.
My older brother Nate, he was the GA with Rob Clune that year.
So the Bethany thing just happened, kind of, right?
Yeah,
there's a little connection.
It took a little while to come back around, but yeah, made it to Bethany. So.
And for anybody out there that's not a Bethany Bison, just know somebody in your family probably at one time either stopped at Bubba's or drove through Bethany and blinked and didn't see it, but at the same time, they probably had a great time if they were here.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, on that note, is there a lasting thing you want to leave with the any recruits, alumni, or anything? Just a message from the program. And can I ask you before you answer that question to end the show? Are you okay with, as we get closer to the season, maybe doing another show where you kind of preview what's coming and bring maybe team captain or whoever?
Absolutely.
We'll bring them on and we'll maybe do a show with you and then a show with them. We'll do the two parts as first part you, second part.
Absolutely.
And I got to throw this one out there too. Steve, I know you're on vacation, but I did ask in the last show, so I'm going to keep pushing it. We're going to not just do this for the coaches. I want to introduce everybody to the athletic department as well, which includes Megan, Mike,
Yeah.
Erica and Steve. I
Yeah.
feel like it's terrible if I only interview the coaches and don't interview the guys.
Yeah, no, the support staff has done an unbelievable job this past year. With Steve coming on board almost 2 years ago. Next month, Megan coming on board last year.
Mike.
Mike's been awesome.
He's everywhere. Every time I'm somewhere on campus, he seems to be there.
So they've been great additions, and again, I think really have reignited that Bethany flame, to get things excited again around here. So looking forward to it.
2020, 2021 goal.
We have goals every year. We talk about it as a team, but pretty much goals year in, year out. Basically, become the best team you can. No matter what happens, don't be content. With what's happened. The day before, the game before, practice before. Don't be content. We're trying to put together a team that can be championship caliber. We talk about the championship process, which is something I've been a part of and talked about with over the past 10 years now, and being a coach. We got to achieve that. Got to get to that point. So.
I have one more question pop into my
Sure.
head. It just because what you said there. So, best victory as Bethany head coach and toughest loss. What would they be? I had, I'm trying to grow the show, so I gotta start coming with questions now.
No, that's good. Those are, honestly, I'll be honest. When you said the best victory and the toughest loss, they would have to have both happened at Thomas More.
I know which one the toughest loss is.
Toughest loss, yeah. Conference championship game. That was, that's up there. It's definitely. We had a great team that year. Great, 1 through 15. And then even the year before, we lost to them at our place on the conference semifinals. We had a great team with Antonio Rudolph and Javante Trujillo were seniors that year. So those two come to mind. There are others. They're all tough, to be honest. But those two first that kind of popped into my head. Then the win I would say at Thomas More my first year was that Wednesday night. We were talking about it off camera. It was
5.5 hours, 6 hour drive.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday night game, and we won in double overtime.
Which kind of propelled that season a little bit more.
It was great. Guys. Obviously, we had a really good team, and we hit some adversity there through the game, but guys played their butts off, and it was fun. That made the ride back so much better.
And that's we talked to Coach Sampson about it. That was I didn't ask you because we know that it's a two-sided story that we're never really going to get.
Right.
But it definitely made it a little nicer driving that way, the whole way back, and got one in the pocket.
Absolutely, and the first things we said when we got back, guys, enjoy this, but don't enjoy it too long because you guys better get to class in the morning.
Yeah, because
I'm saying this to these guys at 3:30 in the morning.
And they probably have, some of them may have 8 a.m.
We have their class schedule, so we knew which guys should have been in class. So, but no, and that's to wrap it all up. I'm proud of our guys, both current and past. True, student athletes definitely took advantage of everything they had here as far as our location, which one of our alums say, hey, you don't have much to do here, outside of the weekends, whatever, but you can really focus on becoming the best
person,
best overall complete student athlete you can be. You really focus on those things, and you got people that care about you and want to help. So, but yeah, this has been fun, man. It's been
Coach,
fun. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you having you on.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for the preseason.
I know.
I'll be up there. Regular season. I know you're coaching. You're looking around, but I'm up there.
Notice I didn't take the jacket off either. It's hot in here.
It's very warm in here. We're both struggling.
I don't take the jacket off during the games either. So.
All right. Well, since you brought that one up, I got to say that might be a slight difference from your counterpart, who, when his jacket went, as a broadcaster at the time, you knew that at least you were going to get some other excitement other than Delonte and some other people doing things that they not only hurt you on the floor, but then Sachs was he was brutal. He was a great man, but he was Ron Richards, Tim McConnell, those type of Bobby Knight type,
fiery guys,
fiery, very emotional. And that is one thing I will say. You are very mild-mannered, and I've seen a couple times where there's that wander out there. And it's not so much words that come out, but there's definitely a look comes from Nick Hager to the officials that go, yeah, again, I'm just assuming as a fan from up above, but I'm assuming things in your head are, really? That's the...
Yeah.
So,
and I will throw out there, I think Sansom is beating me in technicals.
Oh!
And then my assistant this past year had more technicals than I did. So
actually, before we end this, I have to talk about that game because I almost got in trouble that game.
What'd you do?
I was sitting behind the scorer's table. Your assistant gets a technical, and I looked at the ref and went, "When did it become a technical foul to ask a question?" And he walked clear across the floor and looked at me and went, "You have something to say?" And I said, "I didn't think I stuttered. I asked you a simple question. All that guy did was ask a question. You gave him a technical. Can you justify that?" And I'm not going to say that anybody at the college told me that I should stop, but there were some people at the scorer's table that definitely gave me one of those, appreciate you as an alumni, but maybe you should calm down a little bit. And I was probably a little louder than I probably should have been, but it happens.
It happens.
It's the green and white pride.
Absolutely, man.
So, well, this was Coach Nick Hager. He has already agreed to be back, which means that I'm now going to put out the question to all the 3 coaches that we've had on the show before. I'm also asking if maybe we could bring you guys back. And Steve, the interview for you and the athletic department is still out there. And I definitely want a phone call when Noon Hoops comes because I need to get myself in a little bit of shape, and I miss playing basketball a little bit.
Absolutely, we'll get you out there.
This has been Dingo Talk. I am Carlo Guadagnino. Coach Hager, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back next week.
Just don't come near me. Get out my way. Put some bins all on your head like Justin Terry. Whoa. Richard Millie cuss a Lambo. Known to keep the better on commando. Every time I'm in my trap, I move like Rambo. Ain't a neighborhood in Philly that I can't go. For real. She said, "Oh, you rich. You rich. I graduated, call me Big Fish. I got Lori Hurry on my wish list. That's the only thing I want for Christmas. I been had my way out here, yeah, no, that's facts. You ain't living that you said, yeah, we know that's cat. You ain't got the ass in when you see me, no, I'm straight. DTOVO, we back again, we going back.
Just a little 10-piece for it, just to blow it in the mall, doesn't mean still going bad on them anyway. Saw you last night, but did it broad day.